Welcome back, everyone. Usually we start the show with a little bit of witty repartee, but we're not going to do that this time. Today we're talking about Pin. Get ready for a very Pinteresting episode.
Exactly.
It's pure Pinsanity over here. So the Pin is a 1988 Canadian film, directed by like some guy named like Sandor or something.
Yeah, it's like You know, I looked it up and I found that I think it was the director's kids were in the punk band Youth Brigade.
Oh, okay. His name is Sandor Stern.
which I thought that was cool.
Yeah. That's true. The Los Angeles hardcore punk band Youth Brigade. That's what it says here. What else did this guy? He's from Timmins, Ontario, which is a funny place to be from, in my opinion, just because the name of the town is funny. Although these days probably the crime rate is extremely high. I found out that a lot of my friends are getting like their handgun licenses and stuff living in Toronto. Things are going bad over there.
Yeah, going south.
Things are going south in the north. And when I was in LA, I was actually surprised at how many of my friends just carried guns on them as they like when we went out, like just in their fanny packs and stuff. Do you carry a piece on you? Yeah.
I'm gonna say yes, even though I don't.
Okay. Well. Okay. Yeah. We were just.
I don't want people watching this and then being like, "All right, I could get that guy."
Yeah, we'd be going out to just like a party or something like that, and then we'd approach like the like the place where you pay, and like the people going through bags, and the guy'd be like, "Oh, I can't come in." I'm like, "Why not?" He's like, "Oh, I'm got some contraband here." I'm like, "What do you got?" He's like, "Oh, I brought my gun with me," and I was just like, "Damn, everyone's just walking around with guns on them in LA. It's kind of cool. It's kind of cool to just be walking around like, with guns and stuff like that."
I don't think I've that's never happened to me. Like I've never been out with people where it came up that one of them has a gun. It's never, and I've been here for 24 years.
Wow. You never went to the Dunkin' Donuts and saw Alex party and he fucking whipped out his piece and
he lifted his shirt and and there was like a fucking revolver in his fucking jams. Yeah, that never happened.
Just a big fucking Desert Eagle in his fucking, like two of them on either side of his belt buckle. But I was gonna say, So things are getting wild up in Canada. And Timmins, Ontario, where Sandor Stern is from, the director of Pin.
Although I might get a drone, but just to follow me around.
Just a Shahhead drone to follow you around.
An Iranian drone.
It's cool. It's fucking sick. I talked with an Iranian woman last night on from Telefilm Canada. Yeah, from OnlyFans. No, from Telefilm Canada. I just wanted to inquire just to see sort of like what the possibility is of like getting
filming in Iran.
Yeah. No, I mean, she's Canadian, right? She's an Iranian woman who lives in Canada. But just to see like what the possibility is of, because I've made a couple films at this point, and what does it take? The Telefilm Canada, if you want to make a feature film with them, you can't just be a nobody. You have to have a film already. Okay. So I figured like, okay, well, I've done all this work and suffered all this much to making films. Like maybe I should at least try to reap the benefits. And also like, trying to get money from the country you're from is a lot easier than trying to get money from like a country that you're not from, So, yeah, but I mean, it seems pretty doable, although there's so much bureaucracy, just like everything else Canadian. It's just all fucking paperwork. And, anytime that you try to do this shit, anytime that you try to like fucking, well, I guess that's with everything, right? Like, even if you go on to like the US, like whatever, .gov websites and try to like get like a, work permit or anything like that with the government, it's always just a fucking nightmare, and you just would rather.
I was watching
immigration lawyer to handle it.
I was watching the Gavin McInnes show, and he was talking about how in Canada they because they don't want the country to be overrun with American pop culture music, that they fund their own pop music. So he was like listing all these bands that sort of came out in the 80s and 90s. I don't know if it still goes on, but that were like songs that were extremely popular, government funded rock music that would come out in Canada, which it just seems bizarre. Like, just bizarre that, like, you know, we here in America, like song music from like Beatles, the English new wave, like all that shit comes over here, and there's not an issue. But you know, so we're accepting songs from wherever. If it's a hit, it's a hit. But in Canada, it's like, no, we can't have that here. We have to make our own music, and we don't want any American music here. But yet, none of the bands and none of the songs that he listed or that he mentioned ever made it over here. Yeah.
I mean, that's, it's the same with that's just the difference between like having some sort of private, sort of like a public financing mechanism versus like a private one. You know, I mean, they have that too in like England with like the BBC and stuff. Although, like, you know, it is funny to fund pop music, you know, because it's like pop music is defined by it being popular, you know. And it's
all the examples that he was playing, they sounded like bad versions of like Duran Duran,
right,
or whatever. Like none of it was good.
Yeah, that seems like something like a little experiment that happened in the 80s when maybe people started complaining about immigration or something, and there was like a more right wing government in maybe during the Mulrooney era or something, or even earlier. But anyways, Mulrooney was in the 90s. Anyways, point is that I mean, you know, like when you have. What do you think about that? About like government fund? I mean, America has basically dick all for that shit.
All I have to say is that Sandor Stern's children had to come to LA to make their music. What does that tell you?
Well, you don't know what they had to do and what they didn't have to do. I mean, they probably wanted to come to LA because, I mean, I'll tell you that LA.
Hey man, I just read the Wikipedia. That's all the research I did, and that was enough.
Yeah, LA in the 80s and 90s, 100%. It's fucking way cooler than any Canadian city. The LA that I visited, you know, last summer, fucking depressing, pretty lame city to me. But, you know, good way to make money if you're a fucking snake in the grass, like you.
Yeah, I'm loaded.
Well, you know, to be honest, like, you know, there's a certain amount of money, there's a certain like threshold that like one must make just in order to operate in LA. Although I guess you're set up, like you got a place and everything like that, and you're kind of dug in there.
You know, like I'm getting by, but you know, as far as like being able to manipulate the system and get rich, I don't know how to do that.
Yeah. I know.
I know.
Well,
what's that mean?
Just what I mean.
You saying I'm stupid?
No, what I mean by I know is that
I'm no Alex Pardee. You know,
Johnny Ryan is Johnny Ryan is definitely not a snake in the grass.
I hope Alex he's the only guy listening to this, just because we just name check him like every 10 minutes.
I'm sure he has like a Google alerts, like anytime anyone
it's going off like online. Crazy right now.
Ping, that's right. No, you're a pretty, what's that word? Like you're committed to your morals to a fault, you know? You're very stubborn, I would say.
I guess so. Also, I don't know if I knew how to do that stuff. I might do it though.
You should, man. You should fucking.
If I could figure out how to con people into giving me money for stupid shit, I would do it.
Right. I got. I'll tell you this. I just got a script. Maybe I'll cut this out. Maybe I won't. But I just got a script sent to me, for a new project, and it's like. The script is so fucking boring. The whole thing is just like, what's that fucking movie? I think it might even be a Scorsese movie about like a guy who calls into a radio station and he's like, I'm gonna kill someone. And then the whole movie is just this guy like on the radio.
Not After Hours. Talk Radio with Eric Bogosian.
That's right. Yeah.
That's not Scorsese.
Who is that? It's some famous director, isn't it?
I don't remember.
Maybe we'll talk about Talk Radio instead of fucking Pin. Talk Radio movie. I'm
blanking on the direct. I think Eric Bogosian directed it because it was based on his play.
Oh, okay. No, it's Oliver Stone.
Okay, but yeah, it's based on Bogosian wrote the play Talk Radio, and then I guess Oliver Stone made it into a movie.
Right. The film that I got sent is a lot like Talk Radio. It's about this like radio guy. First of all, red flag, right? It's like, oh great, a contemporary film that takes place in 2026 about a guy on the radio. Yeah. And I was like, so is it a period piece? Like, do we have it take place in the 90s? Okay, right away for us to do this fucking radio.
It's about the Jack FM guy.
we got to make sure that like if there's any exterior shots, we got to make sure that like all the cars are like 90s cars and everything, just so that we can maintain the fucking suspension of disbelief that this guy is a successful radio fucking broadcaster. So then I did something like I started reading through the script. I got maybe like 10 pages in and I'm just like, I know exactly what the hell this kind of movie is. It's like it's one of those things where it's like it's all just in the studio and the guy's on the phone and it's the theater of the mind of like this guy just being like, well, I got something that might change your mind. And he's like, oh yeah, well, what's that? And he's like, well, listen to this. And then it's like, oh, daddy, help me. It's like, oh my God, is that my daughter? Like, and it's the fucking, the tension is created just through a voice on the phone. And what's being shot is actually just like this guy in a fucking studio.
Well, remember there was that movie with Ryan Reynolds and he's in like a box and like, he's just got a cell phone and he's trying to like, he's talking to like the kidnappers and shit on the phone. Like that, the whole movie is Ryan Reynolds in a box. I think it's called
that. Ryan Reynolds in a box. Snakes on a plane. No, it's like I mean, you have to there's very 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 few actors that can pull off that kind of movie. I mean, Ryan Reynolds is definitely not one of them. Fucking old Bogosian, I don't know that he pulled it off with Talk Radio either. I find that movie to be not.
Usually if a movie is based on a play, that's bad news. Like very rarely, it's very rare that someone can make a good film out of a play.
Glenn Ross.
Yeah, it's not a good movie.
It's a great movie. Are you kidding me?
It's not a good movie.
Why? You don't like Glenn Ross? Why the fuck not? Because it's boring.
It's boring, and
I love it. It's not boring at all.
Once Alec Baldwin, his scene is great, but once he's gone, I don't know what anybody's talking about. I don't know what the fuck they're doing. I don't care what they're doing. I just want to get the fuck out of there.
Oh, this sounds like your review of Perfect Blue. Where it's just like you didn't kind of open yourself up enough to just like understand what they're.
I might want to watch Perfect Blue more than I want to watch Glengarry Glen Ross.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, you don't like Jack Lemmon and Glengarry Glen Ross, one of the funniest performances.
I like the Simpsons version of Jack Lemmon from Glengarry Glen Ross more than
Gil?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I guess maybe if it's like if it's just, I was laughing actually because I saw that movie Sirat that you were talking about that you hated as well.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh,
I didn't know you watched it.
I sort of, I didn't really watch it. I kind of had it on while I was like doing something else because I found it online.
While you were reading, while you were reading a novel, reading the Bible.
Yeah. While I was reading the fucking the Quran. But I was saying that I was saying to you earlier that like I think I was saying it to you earlier, but I totally understand why you didn't like that movie, because like in order for one to engage with that movie, you have to like, see some sort of value in like raving and like, dancing and listening to that kind of music. Like, cause the movie just kind of assumes that like it's cool. So like, oh, this is cool. This like look at this person dancing in slow motion.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely would have to think that those people are cool or at least interesting on some level. And I thought that they were all disgusting and pathetic and useless. And so when they started like dying off and blowing up, I was just like, oh, cool. Like we're getting closer to the end. There's only like one left or something. Like it was like these markers that I knew like, okay, this thing's going to end pretty soon. Thank God.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the premise is, looking for a child. That's always an interesting, it's always an interesting premise for a movie. It's Taken is a great movie. But here it's just like, not only is it just squandered. I mean, okay, like the location is cool. Like you don't usually see films filmed in that Moroccan desert, but man, it's just like, who gives a fuck?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I was laughing because when you just said now they're just pathetic. Like it's so funny. Yeah. Like someone's watching that movie.
They're gross. They're ugly and gross.
Yeah. Yeah. Like the movie assumes that the viewer is going to be like captivated by this and compelled by just this world, but like I was just imagining you sitting in a movie theater just being with like sort of a stink face on, just being like being disgusted and fucking repulsed by these pathetic people,
and then even like the dad, like who you're supposed to be sympathizing with him. The fact that he's like dragging his son along, like through this rough terrain, this horrible desert terrain, like I was like, oh, this guy's an idiot. No wonder the daughter fucking left.
Yeah, but anyways,
people kept comparing it to like Wages of Fear and Sorcerer. No,
it's not that. I think I hated it less than you. But the point that I'm trying to make is that like going into like is it is possible to just dislike a movie just because it's about something that you just are not even a little bit into and don't have any interest in opening yourself up to at all. Mm-hmm. Like I think with Glenn Ross, if you're just not interested at all in that kind of subject matter, then why bother opening yourself up to it, and then the only thing you find interesting is just the part where Alec Baldwin comes in and dresses everyone down for fucking 15 minutes,
Well, that was funny, and everything else was not as funny, and like that happens at pretty much the very beginning. I mean, that's the whole thing that gets the movie started, right? Is sort of like, you better do this or you're fired, and yeah, that was sort of the money shot, and it's at the top of the movie. Everything else after that is just kind of like, I don't know. I didn't care.
No, I like Jack Lemmon in that movie is so great. I love that character, and the only part that there's a part where like Pacino. And what's the name of that fucking guy? The star of Brazil. That actor, what's his name? The guy who was like he's the guy who's Pacino is selling to in Glenn Ross
from Brazil. Oh,
David something.
No, it's not David. He was in Game of Thrones too.
Yeah, he was. Jonathan Pryce.
Right.
Yeah. The part where he's at a bar with Jonathan Pryce, and he's like trying to he's sort of enticing him into sort of why he should invest his money or whatever. And it's this sort of, that scene gets on my nerves, but anyways, whatever. Most of the movie I fucking love, like all the stuff with them fucking fighting and bickering. But I just saw the reason why I brought it up before was because I just saw where is it? There's like a revival of that play by Kieran Culkin, Bob Odenkirk, Bill Burr, and Michael McKean. Apparently they're doing like a stage production of Glengarry Glen Ross. And everyone, or not everyone, but this reporter from the Daily Beast is being like, it's, this ain't right to be doing in today's climate, The play's racist and homophobic slurs land hard in the era of MAGA, So like, it's just kind of like, what the fuck is that? What the fuck is that play or movie or story? Without that, should they have changed that? Should they have made them all fucking women? Or like
make them all black women.
Make them all black women. Make it like
that's the solution to everything. It's just sort of like, oh, there's a film or a franchise that it's just all white people. I know, I've got a great idea. Let's make it all black people instead.
Let's make it all black people, and let's make the white people literal monsters, like supernatural monsters.
Yeah, like Sinners.
Yeah, the best movie.
Let's remake. It's a good idea. Let's make Dusk Till Dawn, but with black people, and then we give them a little lecture about Black history in the middle of the movie. How about that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Cha-ching.
Yeah. Well, and I've said this to you before as well, but like the beauty of From Dusk Till Dawn is that it's just like bursting at the seams with creativity. Like there's like 40 different vampire designs. There's like tons of gore. It's like that's the peanut butter. And
because they're making a horror movie, and they're not trying to make something other than a horror movie. It's like, this is a horror movie, and and that's what we're going to do. Special effects, gore, nudity, crazy characters doing horrible shit. So that's what we're doing here. And in Sinners, it's just like, we're elevating the genre. This is going to be important. This is an important step for black people. It's just like, get the fuck out of here. Who cares?
Yeah. That's the problem with Sinners, is just that it takes itself too seriously.
Right. So like you mentioned to me that like, the premise, people say like, oh, it's just like Dusk Till Dawn. But I mean, it's still like the Siege premise, which has been around forever. Sure. Since like Westerns and stuff. So
Straw Dogs.
That's fine. Like, you want to make a Siege movie? That's like its own genre, and, great. But if you think this is some sort of like Oscar-winning film, it's not. It's like you're doing something that's been done a million times before, and just because you're adding a little, black wisdom in it, it's somehow important. No.
I mean, first of all, it is an Oscar-winning film. Whether you like it or not, it fucking.
Not my president.
Not my president.
Oscar feels completely like, I don't know, or like, when was the last time an Oscar movie, like a movie that deserved an Academy Award, got it? Like, it's been a long time. Like that, when you think of like the movies that have won Best Picture Academy Award,
Silence of the Lambs always jumps out at. I think maybe
that's what I was thinking too. So we're talking, what's that, 1992, 1991? Like, what is
91,
that?
I believe. 91.
So, yeah, so it's been 35 years since a worthy film has won an Academy Award.
Maybe it was 92. Like, maybe it was the 92 Oscars, but Silence of the Lambs came out in 91. Anyways, doesn't matter. The point is that yeah, like it's not really an issue of anything other than just a movie just needs to be generous to the audience, instead of like I think for despite all its faults, From Dusk Till Dawn is like a very like generous film. Like it's coming to the party with like a 12-pack of beer and fucking snacks and fucking a bag full of fucking porn for everyone to jerk off to. Like it's bringing everything to the party, whereas like Sinners feels more like someone who comes to the party with a guitar and then sits down and then makes everyone stop and listen to this fucking asshole play a song
like
for fucking 50
in
minutes.
Animal House when the guy's singing the song he's playing the acoustic guitar at the toga party, and John Belushi grabs his guitar. He's singing like, "I gave my love a chicken," and then Belushi grabs the guitar and fucking smashes it.
I remember one time going camping, and this guy that we didn't know, this guy that was there with someone else, like I guess maybe like someone's friend or someone's boyfriend or something, brought his guitar, and then while we were like around the fire drinking, he all of a sudden pulled out the guitar and started playing that fucking Asshole song by Dennis Leary.
Okay.
And he did the whole song, even the part where he's like, "You know what I'm gonna do?" Like he stops, like there's sort of a spoken part of the song too, and he started doing like this, and everyone was just sitting there, just like high and drunk, and just being like, just let him do it.
He knew the whole song, like.
Yeah. He knew the whole thing, even the spoken part. He knew it like word for word.
That's something else. That's impressive.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, fuck, you should have been there, man. It was quite the sight to behold.
And then also, like, comparing it to Dusk Till Dawn, like, the gore in Dusk Till Dawn is great, and it's just a fun movie. And then here, the gore is just enough to get by. And then also the sex, like they have all these sexual scenes, but they're all, and it's very 21st century sexual movie scenes, which is like they're having sex, but you don't see anything, and everything's just kind of implied, like he's eating her pussy, but you don't see him actually doing it. He's like under a dress, and then some lady's getting fucked from behind, but she's wearing her dress and he's wearing his zoot suit or something. So you never see anything. Yeah. So even that was sort of like, oh, come on, this movie, if this movie was a person, they'd be a fucking pussy.
I think that if you argued that with someone who was a fan of the film, they would be like, well, that's actually how people had sex back in the Old West, like they'd make some kind of like claim.
That doesn't, like, when you're making a movie, you could do something that is real, or you could do something that's interesting, and you always choose the interesting. Now, if the real thing is interesting, then do it. But if interesting is more, if the real isn't as interesting, then do it. You know what I'm saying?
Of course I understand.
Always pick interesting.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, that's how the argument would be made if you brought that to the table of a sinner's defender. I remember when that movie Us, remember that Jordan Peele movie called Us that came out, the one that he did after.
Yeah. I never saw it, but I know what you're talking about.
There's the woman in the movie, I forget her name. It's like Lupita Nyong'o or whatever. Like okay. she's like got this difficult to pronounce and read name, but she does sort of this, because like the whole thing is like there's this woman and then there's like a double of her that shows up, and the double talks in this voice that's like wheezy, and I thought it was such a fucking annoying, not annoying, but just like it's like trying to be scary, like just really affected, like forced.
Like, I'm evil, like that.
I'm talking like this, and it's just like, wow, look at that woman act. That's all you're thinking when you're watching the movie. Like it completely just destroys any sort of suspension of disbelief, and all you're doing is watching this actress act in front of you. And I remember, against better judgment, like responding on Instagram, just being like, I think her voice is ridiculous and it totally breaks the suspension of disbelief, blah, 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 blah. And then some guy came on and he was just like, well, actually, that's actually how people who have laryngitis actually talk. Like he started like legitimizing it with like, you may think that, but the truth is that that's actually real. That's actually how people talk who've been choked or whatever. And it's the same thing. It's just like, so fucking what? Like, I mean, that doesn't make any fucking difference. Like, who cares?
There's plenty of times where like you have something in your head and you're like, or even like you'll read some factual information and you're like, oh, that sounds interesting. I wonder if there's a way I can use this in, whatever, you're making a film or you're comic or whatever, or writing a story, and then you try to fit it in, you try to make it work, and sometimes it just doesn't work. And because it's like it just sounds dumb, it looks stupid, it's not believable, and you just have to, as a creator, you have to be like, you have to be able to edit yourself and be like, yeah, this is, maybe this is real, but it's not working.
Yeah, sometimes, I mean, a lot of the times things just read better than they do play out on the screen too. Like, I mean, if you're like, for example, in that instance of Us, like you're reading the screenplay, there's probably going to be like one instance where it's like her voice is raspy, her voice is raspy. And then then you just see the dialogue chunks and you're reading through the screenplay and like it's not reiterating the fact that her voice is raspy, so like you're just reading it as if she's saying it like normally, and you don't realize that when it comes to shooting this film, she's going to be having to do that voice the whole fucking time. And it's like I guess for me it was a big problem, but like I guess for most, whatever, I guess that movie is largely lauded by the majority of people. So what the fuck do I know?
Or like even, like little Nicky, Sandler's like putting on that I'm the son of Satan voice. Like he's doing that whole, like the whole movie, he's doing that whole thing. And it's like, at some point you're just kind of like, man, can you just talk normal? Why do you have to talk like that?
That's funny. The woman from Us is doing her Little Nicky impression.
I'd rather watch fucking Little Nicky than fucking Us.
Yeah. Did you watch that? Did you watch One Battle After Another?
I still haven't seen it, no.
Oh, really? I think that is a good movie, honestly.
Okay.
Like, I mean, in terms of just like, there's, whatever. Like, I don't like how it ends. Like, I won't tell you how it ends, but like.
I haven't liked much of what he's done since
There Will Be Blood.
I think
or The Master.
I didn't even like The Master. I like the start of The Master, and then it just kind of goes off the rails.
I like The Master.
Like it's like as soon as he joins the cult, it's just like it just kind of seems to be floundering around. But yeah, like since There Will Be Blood, I don't think there's anything that he's done that I've really enjoyed.
I don't know. I'm a sucker for all that shit. Even something like Licorice Pizza there's just a certain,
like, I guess I didn't hate that, but I just felt like it's just this kind of rambling. It doesn't seem very focused.
Yeah, absolutely not. Absolutely not. But I'm here for it. If it's engaging, like, I don't got anywhere better to be. I'll sit here and watch this fucking sort of sumptuous film.
Put that on the poster.
Right.
I'll watch this. I don't got anything better to do.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there are a lot of movies where I put them on and like I do like actually have better things to do than fucking waste my time with this fucking thing. Whereas Licorice Pizza, I felt like, oh, this is time well spent. I think this is good filmmaking here.
Yeah, I don't know if I would say it was time well spent. Yeah.
One Battle After Another. Yeah, I think the ending is very cringe, mostly having to do with the needle drop. like the combination of what's happening along with like the song.
Is it like You Are So Beautiful and Charlie Goes Away?
Yeah, a little bit. It's just like it's sort of like telling you this is how you should feel about this, you know? It's just like fuck off. But in terms of like sort of an American adventure movie, it really is successful, I think. Like in terms, like that's what One Battle After Another is. It's like just this sort of 70s style American adventure movie that you just haven't seen in ages. And it's like, if you look at it on those terms, like, fuck yeah, it's fucking great. You know, like, I mean, talk about an engaging film. What does it remind? It reminds me of, you know, maybe something like, you know, not in terms of the tone, maybe in tone, it reminds me of something like Marathon Man, but then it kind of has themes of like, fucking, Rage with George C. Scott a little bit. But not really. I don't know, whatever, man. I think it's a good movie.
That's the one where like his kid is poisoned.
Yeah. And then George C. Scott's running amok. Right. And it's dealing with like sort of it's one of the first movies to like talk about like the government doesn't like, you know, is entirely against you, and it's just the common man has to stand up against it. George C. Scott, I think, directed that movie. I think it was his
Rage. Yeah, he did.
Yeah. Okay, so fucking Pin, man. We should probably talk about Pin. We've already been rambling on for about 35 minutes at this point.
Sure.
Sandor Stern, the father of Youth Brigade, made this film in 1988, and it has Terry O'Quinn is in it as the father. He's there briefly as a supporting character, the stepfather whom we love, and also what's her fucking name? Cynthia something or other. Let me check. I should probably get the cast up here.
Oh, I don't know. I only know Terry O'Quinn.
Yeah, I know.
And
Cynthia Preston.
Is she like a Canadian superstar?
She's not a superstar, but she's in like a lot of like sort of Canadian, like, for example, she's the girlfriend in The Brain. Remember The Brain?
No.
I think that was the same year as this. But and she was in like the X-Files, because like X-Files was shot in Vancouver, so like she's a Canadian actress, so she shows up in the X-Files like once in a while, or maybe once. But she's just such a fucking. I think she's such a babe in this movie. Like sometimes which
one is she? Is she the mother?
No, she's the sister.
Is she the young girl? Who is she?
Yeah, she's the 6-year-old girl. No, she's the girl. She's like plays Ursula in the film.
Okay,
the sister.
She's cool.
Yeah, she's cool as hell. And then there's also David Hewlett, who plays Leon, who's like kind of
he's like a Canadian Robert Pattinson.
Yeah, exactly.
With like fucked up teeth.
Right. He's actually British, but I think he's got dual citizenship. But anyways, Pin, the titular Pin is this sort of like anatomical, like
it's a medical dummy,
but it's got like transparent skin, and you can see like his musculature underneath, and maybe
this is the second time I've seen the movie, but only this time did I realize why he was called Pin.
Oh, because Pinocchio.
Because there is just a throwaway line that it's like, oh, it's short for Pinocchio, and I didn't remember that from the last time. So I was like, because I was always thinking like, why was that movie called Pin?
Yeah,
there's no pin in it. It's like, oh, Pinocchio. Okay, I get it.
Right. So what the doctor does, Terry O'Quinn, first of all, he's like really like weird and bizarre, and like in his parenting, like his kids have to like prove themselves to him with like.
Well, both parents, like mom and dad, are very, very strict. Very like mom's like a neat freak who's got the couches wrapped in plastic.
Yeah.
And it's just like they're all for like cleanliness and orderliness, and they're very tight. They're like real tight asses.
Yeah.
And they like the children. One of the earliest scenes are like the children eating, like they're eating with like big giant napkins around their necks, like eating a piece of cake over the sink so not to make a mess.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. It made me think that, like, I mean, I guess this was based on a book, but it made me think, like, man, the writer was probably like really abused as a kid.
Well,
and this is his like payback.
Yeah, he's just gonna like put his fucking family on blast.
Exactly.
It was based on a book.
Yeah,
it's crazy. Oh yeah, same name by Andrew Niederman.
Yeah, so I think Niederman really went through it.
Yeah,
with mom and dad.
What else did he write? Oh shit, he wrote The Devil's Advocate with Al Pacino and Keanu Reeves.
Oh no shit.
Yeah, isn't that wild? The novel it was based upon. Anywho, what the doctor does is he like uses ventriloquism to make his kids believe. Well, they, in the same way like Santa Claus, like they believe for a while, but after a while they realize that it's the father doing it. They kind of he makes it like the fucking anatomical dummy is talking, and this character named Pin, who's just sort of this nice. What role does Pin play like in their lives? Like it's like here you have these strict parents.
Well, one of the things that Pin does is explain sexuality. Like he's sort of like a teaching tool where the dad will throw his voice into Pin and teach them about like the human body.
Yeah, that was after they found the porno. Like they were looking at porno, so it's like, oh, it's time to teach you about sex.
But I like that the daughter is more interested in the porno than the boy is.
Yeah.
Because she's like even as a child, like it's like she's like I just can't wait to fuck.
Yeah, well, we knew kids like that. We like you'd be like in grade 6, and
I'm just saying this movie wouldn't. They better not put it on Broadway today, or they'll be in big trouble.
Yeah,
in today's MAGA world.
Did you ever see that? We've talked about this before, but did you ever see that movie called Cuties? That French movie that like.
Oh no, you've talked. I remember you mentioned it to me, and like there was all this hubbub about it, but I never saw it.
I mean, it's whether or not it's a good movie is up for debate, but like the film is about this Muslim girl in France who's like. Got this conservative family, and it's like she's being brought up as like as a fucking like a Sunni Muslim or whatever, and then she's in France and she ends up like making friends with like this like French girl who's into like sexy dancing, but she's way like young, like she's like 12 or 11 or something like that.
Okay, and
then this it's sort of about how this girl is it's sort of at its core about like this sort of like old world kind of belief system and family structure kind of colliding with like a modern one, and then it's the kids who are the kids who are kind of like at the tip of the spear in terms of this like collision of two things.
Okay,
and I watched it and I was like, I think that there's value in this film, but like, and I do not think that this is meant to be any kind of
child porn.
Yeah, I mean, it's not. If you want to watch fucking child pornography, you can go fucking watch that shit. Like that. I'm sure you can find it if you use your fucking incognito fucking browser or whatever. But like
Tor browser.
Right, but this is not that. This is definitely exploring the idea of like, of kids being exposed to this shit, and then what are they supposed to do with it, Like that's what it's about. And it's like, and I think it's approached very honestly too. And I think that the flack that fucking movie gets is less about talking about the movie and more about like, whoever's making the statement, just trying to like announce to the world that they're not a pedophile, Hey, guess what, everyone? I'm not a fucking pedophile. I hate this movie, So
well, that movie also sort of came out in the probably biggest wave of cancel culture and people pointing out moral flaws in movies and comedians, and so it was like it wasn't timed well.
Right. It's annoying because the director of that film, I think, is a woman who I think also is like a Muslim woman. Okay. And I think she was actually trying to do something like good, or she was trying to explore something that just, other people were too afraid to explore with that movie. Right. And then she just ends up getting fucking, probably her career is fucked, because of that too. Hopefully she's French, and the movie's French too. So hopefully, the French were a little bit more kind to the film. But as far as the American audience was concerned, she doesn't have any future in the West, or in America, rather.
Well, I'm sure people who don't even know the movie are just sort of like, oh, Cuties, I heard of that. That was the
pedophile movie. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but it was very, very dismaying, just to see something, no defense, nobody sticking up for that movie at all, because it's right. Well, it's either stick up for this movie.
Because the thing is if you, especially during that time, if you stick up for any of those, anybody who got swept up in that, you get swept up into it too, and people start looking at you and start examining you. So everybody was just hiding, being staying quiet in order to avoid trouble.
Yeah, you roll with them, you get fucked up with them.
Right, that suddenly they're like, oh, this guy likes Cuties, so let's look what he does. Look what he said over here. Use the F word over here, or suddenly every horrible, questionable thing that you've done is now on display, and now you're a co-pedophile.
Mm-hmm. So, okay, back to Pin. We see that the little girl is, I'd say healthier. She's more comfortable in her own skin than the boy. And she's also she, wisens up to the fact that it's her dad using ventriloquism.
I was just going to say, she seems to be more aware. Yeah, like you said, she becomes aware sooner. At least she becomes aware sooner that Pin is her dad throwing his voice.
Yeah,
and the boy is more swept up in this Pin character and seeing him as an actual friend and maybe
confidant
and mentor.
Yeah, mentor. Can you imagine just some weird fucking guy who looks like Frank from Hellraiser being your mentor?
Right.
It's pretty sweet.
But that's the other thing that I like in the movie is that this dummy, the medical dummy, is actually very creepy. It is a very creepy looking dummy. It's got it has a very soulful expression on its face. It just has a very kind of big-eyed sort of a yearning expression, but then you see all its organs, and it's just there's something very attractive yet repelling about it. Repellent, right. I don't know, but yeah, and then the little boy is he accidentally sees one of the doctor's nurses fucking the dummy, which is a great moment.
That's that's the turning point. That's where everything in this kid's head gets all scrambled up. Right. Maybe there was some point where he could have he could have had gotten on the right track and got his head straight. But like seeing that nurse fuck Pin was just kind of like, I don't know what. Well, if Pin's getting laid, then fuck, I'm putting all my eggs in the Pin basket.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But so that happens, and then we sort of jump forward in time, and now.
Well, I think it's interesting because we go from the little girl being like, after the sex talk, the little girl being like, I can't wait to be a grown up and get involved in all that stuff, and then cut to high school prom, and Leon is looking around like, where's my sister? Where's my sister?
Yeah,
she's in the parking lot, fucking a dude in the car.
Yeah. They do 3 stages of ages in this film. They do them once when they're really little, and they do them once when they're like 12, and then they do the sort of adults, like early 20s, late teens kind of versions of them. And it's sort of funny how they do that, because they only really needed 2, but they decided to add an extra level. Childhood, kind of like verging upon puberty, and then adulthood.
But it's interesting too, because maybe we're jumping ahead, but for me, everything for those first 2, actually basically everything up until Terry O'Quinn dies is really good. Mm-hmm. Everything after that is just okay.
Yeah. I don't know. I think we can get into it, but as we go through the movie chronologically, but let's talk about that. So Terry O'Quinn and the mother end up dying in a car crash.
Well, we should also say that Terry O'Quinn, the father, catches his son Leon at his office talking to Pin.
Right.
And seeing that,
it disturbs him.
He's shocked that his clearly his son is losing his grip on reality.
Right.
And he's going to do something about it. And that thing that he's going to do is he's going to get rid of Pin. So he kicks Leon out of his office, and he grabs Pin, and he jumps in the car, and he's like, I'm taking Pin, and I'm taking him to the medical association. I'm just going to donate him to the medical association, probably thinking that I got to get this thing out of my son's life, otherwise he's going to slip more and more. This is the cure for him, for his mental problems, is getting rid of this dummy.
I should have, before I jump to Terry O'Quinn dying, we should also talk about how the girl gets pregnant and has to have an abortion. Right. And that's also a pretty big moment in the film.
And then her trying to figure out how to admit it to her father that she's pregnant. Yeah, that's all good stuff. And
then Leon's like, I got an idea. Let's go ask Pin.
Right, and yeah. So Pin becomes sort of the Delphic oracle for this guy. That's just who he, whenever he has a problem, he just turns to Pin.
Yeah,
for advice.
But more sort of importantly, when they go, she's like, what? Go to Pin. What the fuck are you talking about? He's so pushy. He's so insistent, and he's able to sort of willfully get her to go and talk to Pin. And she's like, fine. So she's there standing in front of this fucking dummy. And then he's asking Pin for advice. And lo and behold, he starts to throw his voice and make Pin talk. And it's as if he doesn't even realize he's doing it. And this is when the sister, it's a good scene where the sister kind of realizes just how completely broken and twisted her brother is. Right. And then, and I think also great acting from, I think that, Cynthia Preston, I think, is really great in this movie. I wish that she was in more stuff.
I think that the guy that plays Leon too is also very good. It's a very,
he is.
They're both very good. They handle this, situation very well.
Right. So then so yeah, the parents die in this car crash, the mother and the father. Pin survives. And it's like they're happy. Like they're talking about, like they've inherited all this money and they can
finally take the plastic off the couch.
Yeah. They're eating like ribs and burgers and stuff. And,
and they can make a mess now. Yeah. They definitely seem relieved that
the parents are dead.
They seem more relieved than broken up that the parents are gone.
Yeah, because like Pin's okay. And you know, they're the sister Ursula is she's like sort of talking more about sort of the things that she can do now that her mother's dead, you know? Oh, I can finally start cooking. Mother would never let me do it before because she said I'd make a mess, you know? Anyways, there's like this aunt that wants to move in and it starts to, you know, create a rift between, that's a big thing of this movie, is like this rift between the brother and sister that he's trying to always avoid. Like he's always trying to keep his sister as close to him as possible and kind of.
Yeah, I think there's like some kind of like implied incestuous, at least from his side.
Yeah, definitely only from his side, and incestuous aspirations.
Right. He wants to keep his sister with him, and he also wants them he just wants it to be him, his sister, and Pin. That's the family unit that he wants to maintain. And so when mom's sister comes in to like live, you know, I guess like this Ursula is supposed to be only in high school, even though she looks like she's like 29.
She doesn't look like she's 29.
She looks like a fully grown 20-year-old woman. She doesn't look like she's a high schooler.
She looks 20.
All right.
Yeah.
She looks 25.
She looks 20. Okay, fine. We'll meet you in the middle. 25.
So
she looks 20.
So the aunt is sort of like, oh, well, you know, she's still in high school, so I'm gonna move in here and I have to watch her because she's only a high school kid. And Leon's like, fuck this shit. So he does a little what's that fucking movie? The French movie. Blanking now. The one where the guy's like hiding in the tub and he comes out like as a zombie and he scares his wife.
I don't know, man.
You know what I'm talking about? I think they might have made a remake of it too, but I'm blanking now. But anyway, so he tries to scare his aunt to death and scares her and she has a heart attack. And
yeah. They telegraphed the heart condition.
Diabolique.
Right. I never saw the original nor the remake.
It's a good one.
So they're back to just being them. Yeah, and the guy starts to like write poetry, and the poetry is sort of like about
testes.
Yeah, testicles. And this guy who just wants to fuck a lot. He's really like, you know, back to the premise, or the basic idea that, like, you know, there's always a really, really bountiful wellspring of horror ideas that come from like sexual dysfunction or sexual deviancy or whatever, you know, like that. This is a great, that's why I wanted to talk about this film, because I think this is a great sort of underappreciated example of this kind of film, of this kind of premise or
right.
Whatever. I mean, all the films of Stuart Gordon, Brian Usna, Frank Henenlotter all come from this kind of sexual motivation, this kind of twisted sexual motivation.
Or
and this is one. Psycho or Psycho 2 or Psycho 2 too.
Actually, all of it. We should do a Psycho series.
Yeah.
Or
sure. Right after we do the Howling series.
Yeah. I still have to watch 3.
Yeah, 3's good, man. I like 3. I mean, it's not good, but it's like it's got to
be better than 4.
It's got a voice. Howling 3 is like doesn't feel like a regular movie. It's got this very bizarre weirdness to it, like just in how it's made too. Yeah, like he's all, somewhere between this fucking anatomical dummy, his weird mother who's, probably, doesn't want him to hang out with certain friends because they're too dirty, being bullied in school, this father who he's constantly trying to get approval from, but who never gives it to, who he never gets it from, rather. And then also seeing this nurse have sex with this dummy, and also the whole fucking thing about like believing that the dummy is real. All of this together, and also just having this sister that is his only friend, creates this bizarre quagmire of weirdness in this kid.
Psychosis.
Yeah, and it makes it so that there's that part where he tries to fuck that friend.
I forgot about that.
And he can't do it. He can't do it, so then he ends up getting pinned to spook her. He does another diabolique, I guess.
He's trying to. I don't know if he's trying to be scared to death. She's too young to be scared to death.
He's just trying to scare her, he's just really into spooking people with Pin.
With Pin. I also have to say that, and this is another reason why I feel like the second half isn't as strong as the first, is that he dresses Pin up in a suit.
Right, and with skin.
And he puts a mask on, so he looks kind of like Eric Idle or something. And he loses his power. Like, his power is... Like, the fact that now he just looks like a fucking mannequin.
Yeah.
It's just not as impactful.
Yeah. They should go back to the original print of the film and just George Lucas it and just make it would have been creepier if he sort of when the girl has her boyfriend come over and it's just a medical dummy sitting there, but it's organs all out and the guy's talking to it. That to me sounds a creepier situation than just talking to a man. Why they had to do that?
No, because it's in the book?
No, because to reach the end of the film, to have, because at the end of the film, spoiler, Leon becomes Pin himself.
I guess that's true.
So you have to, if it was just the medical dummy and then it's this guy sitting in a chair, it wouldn't hit. You know what I mean? It wouldn't connect as easily.
Yes. Although if they did something where he was horribly burned but still alive, so he looked kind of like a fucking medical dummy, that could have worked.
Or maybe they could have just I don't know. There's but it's a problem because you're right. The new and improved Pin doesn't look that cool, let alone as cool as the even as a standalone object. It's not that cool. It just looks like a mannequin.
Right.
Then Ursula gets a boyfriend after she's got this job in a library, which Leon doesn't approve of.
Any sort of independence that she shows, he hates it.
He tries to squash it.
Squelch it.
But then she meets this guy named something. I forget his name. But anyways, he's this sort of athletic, nice guy.
He
cool.
is hot.
He's a hot piece of ass.
He's a Canadian 9.
He's a Canadian, definitely a Canadian 9. And there's actually I was watching the film and I was kind of just really thinking about the writing and sort of what I regard as being good writing and sometimes, and there's sort of these cheesy things where it's like, wanting to sort of connect threads that you do with writing sometimes, like introducing one thing and then like essentially what it boils down to is not having anything be arbitrary, having everything contribute towards the story. Sure. That's what good writing is, like I say that with rolling my eyes, but but there is sort of like a really nice little neat and tidiness to the whole thing with the first date. They go to like get food at a restaurant, and then they're like, oh, we better eat quick because it's because we're going to be late to the movie. What time is it anyways? Oh, it's 8:15. Oh shit, we only have like 10 minutes till the movie starts. So like, and then the next scene after that is them in the movie theater, like with their food that they've gotten to go, and they're eating it in the movie theater. That's sort of cute, I guess. Then later on, she gives him a watch for a present, right. And it's like, oh, because he didn't. It's thoughtful. Because he didn't have a watch before, so he gets him a watch so that they'll always be on time or whatever, stuff like that. So that's like, and then the watch ends up alerting, because later on, spoiler, what happens is that Leon kills this boyfriend,
or he tries to kill him, and it's the no, he does kill him. No,
really sure?
No, in the one that I saw, he's alive at the end. They because he throws him in the wood pile, and then when the cops come, they dig him out of the wood pile, and then they take off the plastic wrap,
right?
And then they're like, he's still alive,
right? Maybe they had to do that, like that Steven Seagal movie where Steven Seagal didn't want to kill the guy, so they had to put in like an ad, like a fucking ADR line where the guy's like, "Oh, you didn't kill me," like as Steven Seagal's leaving the fucking church. But anyways, yeah, like it's the watch, the beep beep of the watch that ends up giving away.
Well, yeah, it alerts her that like her boyfriend is somewhere in the house.
Right, exactly. But I mean, just all of that together, I think, just sort of. I just think that's clever, like that kind of stuff is like, I appreciate that shit.
Sure.
And it's the kind of shit that like most people who, passively watch a movie wouldn't really pick up on or care about. But I think that's really a nice little thing going on there. Nice little mechanic. Yeah, I don't. I mean, what else? So what else happens? So then there's this boyfriend.
I do think it's to counter what you're saying. This is what I would consider like probably slightly bad writing. When she brings her boyfriend to over to her house to have dinner with meet Leon and Pin, and and so the guy's trying to make the best of it, and he's trying to get along with Leon. Leon's, he's not being very friendly, and then the guy's like, "Oh, I hear you're a poet. I want to hear some of that poetry." And so the guy's like, so Leon's like, "All right, I'll read you some of my poetry," and he starts reading his horrible testicles poetry, and
yeah,
and then jump to Leon upstairs talking to Pin, like, well, maybe this guy's not so bad. He likes my poetry. He seems like a cool guy. And Pin's like, I don't think so. And then he goes downstairs to, Pin kind of like puts a pin in his fun. And as he's like walking downstairs, he overhears the boyfriend like, that guy needs to be in an institution. He's like that's usually the conversation that you save for like later after you left left the house. You don't start talking about like the guy that lives in this house and owns this house. He's a crazy person and he deserves to be in an institution. He's a fucking lunatic. Yeah. And like meanwhile, he's like, Leon hears all that. His bubble is burst. He now fucking hates this guy, and he walks in on this conversation. And then, so yeah, now he hates the boyfriend. And so he's like, I got to get rid of this boyfriend. And so then he calls the boyfriend and he's like, hey, do you want to come over? I want to plan a surprise party for my sister, Ursula. Oh yeah, okay, I'll be right there. And literally, we just heard like this guy's like he thinks that this guy's like a lunatic, like he's crazy. So I'm going to go over to this guy's house alone, not tell anybody I'm going over there. It did feel a little, like it seemed like he would have been like, yeah, well, let's meet in a public place or.
Yeah. I mean, like, I don't think that the boyfriend thought that he was dangerous, but at the same time, I think it would just be kind of like, well, do I have to come to your house? Like, what's your plan? Just tell me over the phone.
I think he kind of, because like, if he just thought that the brother was sort of like kooky, like I think like he would wow, you got to like, your brother's kind of quirky, But the fact that he's like, your brother needs to be in a mental institution. He is crazy. He's fucking, 3 sheets to the wind. Like he's just nuts. So yeah, I feel like he's, and to have to like say that in the house, so he's saying it with some urgency. It makes me feel like he thought that this guy was, if not like a killer, he's at least like bad news.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right, actually. Like, and the way to know if it's good writing or bad writing is to see if there's like a better alternative. And like, if he had just called him on the phone, if the movie played out exactly the same way, and like the phone call was about something else other than planning a surprise party, if it was about like something more like, hey man, like I wanted to, like he tries to open up to him or something. He's like, I want to talk to you because like you're right. Like I overheard, he gives a little bit of truth. He says, I overheard what you were saying last night. And like, I just want to, try to, it's important for me that like I have a good relationship with you because I care about my sister. Like if it was a little more earnest or something
more manipulative.
Yeah.
Not just sort of like, hey, I'm going to plan a surprise party. Come on over. Like that it just seems a little lazy. Like if he was a little more slick.
Yeah. It's a little dipshitty. But anyways, so then he comes over and we kind of get into where we jumped ahead to, where he poisons the boyfriend with some fucking or whatever, like some a sedative inside of the glass.
Makes him a Canadian cocktail.
Yeah, it makes him a fucking a Ryan Ginger, Canadian Club and Ginger, and he doesn't wait long enough for it to take effect, and he tries to attack him before it takes effect, and then they kind of tear up the living room. Leon suffers a little bit of damage as well, and then he ends up in the wood pile. And then
the sister's sort of like, Ursula's like looking for him, can't find him, he won't pick up the phone. She's very distracted, like what happened to him, and Leon's like, oh, I'm sure he's just, having a good time someplace.
Yeah.
And she's still like really concerned, and that's when she hears the watch beeping in the living room, and then she's like, and then she feels the wet carpet where he cleaned up the blood, and then she knows Leon did something.
Right, and then so Leon goes out the window, right? That's what happens to Leon at the end. He like gets pushed out the window. I kind of forget.
Yeah, me too.
I think that's how he ends up kind of like in a wheelchair or like in that chair at the end. But I can't exactly remember how it happens, which is weird because I've seen this movie like a few times. But in any case, yeah, like it all culminates to like a thing where something happens to Leon where he gets injured in such a catastrophic way that he becomes catatonic and nonverbal, and then he just sits in this chair. And then we didn't mention that the movie kind of starts with like these little kids going up to the house and being like, "Oh, there's a weird guy over there," you know.
Well, they just think it's like a dummy in the window because it just sits there and stares and doesn't blink, and so like they dare one of the kids to climb up to check it out, and he finds that it is actually a real person, and then we sort of like through the story tells us how we got to this place.
That's the kind of the wraparound. Anyways, so that's the end. Anyways,
which actually isn't. It's not. I don't know if I'm. The fact that we can't even remember the ending, it's not a good sign. Even the fact that he's just sort of like a dummy. It's just sort of a dummy. He just becomes a dummy in the window. Yeah.
Well, I mean, like, what's the better alternative? That he dies and then the girlfriend and the boyfriend live happily ever after. I mean,
that they donate his body to a medical facility and they turn him into an actual medical dummy.
Is it that like I think I'm just making this up.
He becomes those that tour that goes to different science museums of like
Body Works.
The Body Works. He becomes part of the Body Works.
His testicles get all like distended, and they have all these like weird testicle tubes coming out, floating out into space, like the Milky Way galaxy. But I was going to say that doesn't something happen at the end where it's like it's Pin, right? Like he tries to like save Pin from being thrown out the window, and then he falls out the window. Isn't that what happens? It's something like that, isn't it?
Well, he gets into a battle like once the sister finds out that he did something to the boyfriend, then they're like going at each other.
Yeah.
That's not jarring your memory.
I'm actually just pulling up the movie right now and just figuring out what's going on. I'm just blasting through it. The cops are here. We found, there he is, the woodpile. Hold on. Oh. Okay. So the sister comes and hits him in the head with an axe.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what. Okay, so all of a sudden, I'm not liking this. I'm not liking this as much as I did. I thought it was something where like she threatens to like do something to Pin, and then he goes to like stop her, and that causes him to like fall out the window. I think I'm conflating it with The Hand That Rocks the Cradle, with the Rebecca De Mornay 90s film, where she falls out the window and like gets impaled on the fence or something.
They should do a montage of movies where people get impaled on the fence.
Yeah. But anyways, so that's Pin. I think that like your assessment that it's good until Terry O'Quinn dies that's not how I feel. I feel like it's good for like longer than that, and then it gets like.
I just don't feel. I don't. I'm not saying I'm not saying it's bad. Like
you said okay before.
It just goes okay. It's just okay. Like it doesn't, because the setup and everything with the kids is so like it's very set. Like they're like involved in like really like weird sexual stuff and with the dad and the overbearing dad and the mom and they just like the way that they just jump into they don't even like do any kind of setup with Pin or the ventriloquism. Like it's just sort of like the kids are there in the medical office, dad's medical office, and suddenly like he just starts throwing his voice into the medical dummy, and there's no like setup as far as like, oh, dad does this thing with the, sometimes Pin, like there's nothing. Like you're just thrown into this world, and it's very strange and creepy, and like it almost has like that dog tooth kind of vibe to it, like that Yorgos Lanthimos kind of thing. like just like creepy family incest sexual issues, and once that is gone, and then even sort of like the nurse fucking the dummy and the kid seeing it, so like once all that is gone, then we're just like, it's just two orphan teens living in a house, and the son is sort of like this kind of Norman Batesy nerd who's, you know, clearly has like mental problems, and he's obsessed with his sister and this medical dummy, and you know, it's okay, and then like trying to keep her from going out on a date with this guy. It's not as interesting as what we saw earlier with the family, and we're not presented with we're not presented with strange and challenging sexual ideas, or really much like the movie just becomes more generic as it keeps going.
That's right. Yeah, like to sort of double down on like the I want to fuck my sister idea, I think might have been favorable. Like if that's kind of like where this sort of was ultimately going, and ultimately Leon kind of just, you know, like, I don't know, admitted that to himself or something, or just kind of was driven in that way, and he actually like attacked the sister.
Right.
That would have been cool. I think for me, like just having those two in the house together, and, you know, him clearly being unhealthily fixated upon her, and trying to dispatch anything that might come between them, and sort of like watching her being kind of manipulated by him, and her also like being sad just about the situation, you know, like she feels bad for him, you know, like there's that part where she's trying to explain to the boyfriend. She's like, I've read every single book that there is on psychoses and psychology and stuff. And like, I know that he's a paranoid schizophrenic, and I've been trying to figure out what I can do to help him or whatever. And like, you know, there's nothing, but he's not hurting anybody, you know? And so like, why can't we just like let him be or whatever? Like that's, you get an insight into, because until that point you kind of just think that she's sort of passive in the whole thing, but in fact, like at that point you realize, oh no, she's very much aware of the situation, and she's just in this bind.
Well, it seems like she almost like has become his caretaker in a way. Like she's cooking, you know.
He's cooking more.
Well, you know, she's the one with the job. He doesn't have a job.
Yeah, but they both don't need jobs. They're both like just wealthy off of this inheritance.
Right, but I mean, my point is like she's actively doing stuff where he's not doing anything, and
she's not really taking care of him. But what she is doing is she's staying there because she knows that like if she leaves, then he's fucked.
Well, that's what I feel like. She thinks that's sort of taking care of him. That's
why I agree with you.
You know. She's living with him and tolerating him and indulging his, like, even though she knows he's having all these problems, it's not like she really is seeking any kind of help or assistance for him. She's just kind of like, I guess, engaging and indulging his psychosis, maybe thinking like that's how you help these people.
Yeah, you let him be crazy.
Right. You know, like, who's it hurting? He's just like, you know, talking to this dummy and yeah. But I mean, like, there's nothing, you know, even when you sort of think of like the scene with the nurse fucking Pin while he's watching, there's nothing that meets that in the second half of the movie. Like, there's nothing that weird in the second half of the movie.
Yeah. But what keeps me watching is just the is because I just like that character. Maybe I got a crush on her, but like
clearly
obviously the Cynthia Preston character, like I find her to be charming, and I just watch because I just want to know that she makes it out of this. Yeah, exactly. Honestly, like that's
well,
what
I mean, you know,
how's she going to deal with this? I hope she's okay.
But the thing is, like, I like Leon too. Like the guy playing Leon does a great job. He's very good as well.
Sure, but in terms of the character,
story wise,
quality of acting,
story wise, the story just becomes fairly generic that second half, and all the juicy stuff is in the front of the movie.
Yeah, I agree with you, because they don't want to take that extra step into something a little bit depraved and dangerous.
Right.
And because honestly, if the movie concluded in that way, I think that, and then all of that shit with the boyfriend and like the poetry and stuff, like was actually building up toward something, mm-hmm. then all of a sudden, I don't think that there'd be a problem with it. But the fact that the boyfriend doesn't die
feels like, you know, when something like that happens, is it like an executive note, like, don't, you better not let that guy die. We don't want people to be depressed, or, you know, this isn't that kind of movie. We want a happy ending. It made me think that.
That's definitely possible. Like it's definitely possible that, like, you know, in order for them to secure whatever financing they needed to make the film, one of the stipulations was that, like, no one can be murdered. Terry O'Quinn and the wife can die in a car crash, but there can't be any murder in the film. Oh yeah, right. You know, and there can't be any rape of the sister. Yeah, maybe I should take a look to see what's inside the fucking book, like in the original book. Maybe.
I mean, the only one who really technically gets murdered, right, is the aunt, but she's just kind of scared to death, so it's fairly bloodless.
Yeah, and it's, you know,
and the bloodlessness, like, the movie's still interesting, even though it is fairly bloodless, but it does feel like this is like some kind of executive note, or like they're trying to keep it safe for a particular audience.
Right. To make sure to maximize profits, to maximize the immense profits that are going to be made with Pin.
Right.
But in any case, yeah, that's it. You know, flaws, warts and all, I like Pin. I think Pin's good. I think Pin for me is a 3.5 out of 5.
Okay. I would give it a 3.
Fair.
A 3 with an asterisk.
Okay, great. Okay. What's an asterisk worth? Like a quarter of a star or a eggplant?
I don't know. Just like somewhere between 2.5 and 3. Like the first half I give a 3, and then the second half I give like a 2.5.
Oh, really?
So
the first half, I mean, if you're thinking of it that way, the first half I'd give more. The first half is like exactly what I want out of this kind of movie. I'd give it a 4 if I was splitting it in half. It'd be like 4 and then like 3.
But yeah, like it's sort of a split decision for me.
I have also like a envy for these kinds of character driven movies, these like performance driven movies that are, as you say, so bloodless, but still kind of manage to be compelling.
If they had somehow maintained the creepy weirdness of the front of the movie and kept it going into the second half of the movie, this really could have been, I don't know, it could have been like a Cronenberg type film.
It could have been like The Pit, the one with that little boy with the trolologs.
The gay little boy. Yeah, that's a great movie. Love The Pit.
Yeah. That's another one that's like entirely about some sort of perverse sexual fucking awakening. This kid's weird, but he's going through puberty. So his sort of psychotic, homicidal aspects are coming out.
Well, it's funny too because he's I don't know, how old would you say? He's like 13 or something in the movie? 12?
He's probably like 12 or 13, yeah.
12 or 13, but he's clearly gay. And then I think I looked him up, so like, what's the Pitt kid doing? I think he's like a ballerina or something.
Yeah, you know what? I remember we went over this once before. It's funny too, because he's like, in the movie, he's like 12 or 13, and like the babysitter is still bathing him and stuff.
Yeah.
So what the fuck? And then he's like, and there's new, like that you get to see that babysitter's tits in the movie, and there's that part where he's just like sitting there, like watching her just sleeping. He's like, I'm
just watching you sleep.
Yeah, he's like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm just watching you sleep. He says,
what's the big deal? I have a crush on you.
Are you doing a gay voice right now?
No, it's my natural voice.
It's my natural voice. Cool. All right, everyone. Well, that's it. That's the end of the show. Thanks a lot. Goodbye.
Bye.